Right, it's 10 o'clock by my computer clock. Let's see what time it is now. Yeah, it's about might have a few seconds slow, a few seconds fast, a few seconds slow, I think. Well, there's nobody here as usual, but I'll be hopefully one or two people. I'm sure that there's a couple of people I think will be coming, but I'll start now anyway, and you can catch up with me. This will be going on the Internet Archive next month. Get very, very poor responses to my videos, but these have to be done because popularity is not a measure of truth. Quite the opposite, it seems. Right, this firstly, been sleeping a lot, quite a bit today. I should be tired. I haven't got any infections at the moment, but so I shouldn't be coughing or spluttering. But a lot of problems with my back at the moment, so I might be fidgeting a bit. Right, this live hangout was to be about crazy women, but it's been overtaken by events, as it were. The verdict is coming in at Cyprus case. I'll discuss that a bit more, in a bit more, bit more detail soon. But I've got quite a few other things to. The theme is false allegations of gang rape, but news articles and things to deal with here. We've got one here. What's this? This is from Wakefield Express. This is an article published the other day. Right, here we are. My trauma meant they couldn't charge my rapist. What's going on here? Got to advertisement now. Oh dear. My trauma meant they couldn't charge my rapist. What is going on? My trauma meant they couldn't charge my rapist. Violent attacker escaped justice because victim's shock affected their witness statement. This is something which is written by Susie Beaver, Beevever. This is I've done a video on this tonic and mobility rubbish. This is a woman, the 28-year-old is one of the 95% of victims who report being raped but never see the perpetrator charged. No, she's one of 95% of alleged victims who report being raped but never see the alleged perpetrator charged. This is Martha Ward. She gave a statement immediately after reporting the rape to police at hotel reception. Then a video interview 4 days later. However, due to the shock and immediate aftermath, there are minor discrepancies in the two statements. I wonder what those minor discrepancies were. Less than a year later, she was raped again by a different person. Oh dear, how careless can you get? I've been on a night out in Manchester, so I'll go back to the hotel. See my straight. Well, I mean, the guy was arrested. They interviewed me and showed the screen. A couple of days later, the photographer came. So in fact, I said another couple of days, I did a video statement. A man claimed he consented, and a small. Well, I mean, you know, people can be unlucky. They can be careless, but when they keep getting careless like that, I don't know. I mean, these women stay away from them. Stay away from them. Now, on a similar subject about, I explained this before. I'll just briefly again. What they want, that they're pushing this tonic and mobility rubbish and this freezing and stuff. What they want is any man accused of rape to be convicted. No trial, no due process. especially with purported delays. So if a woman claims to have been raped last week, last month, last year, last decade, she's to be believed uncritically. You'll see why this is so bad if you don't know already. Now, in refutation of this, what I always do is I look for cases of women who have been raped unambiguously, and I found this excellent, well, excellent, not that it happened, but excellent video on. It's a documentary.
Time about 7 years ago, Erin Orcutt was.
This is a woman who was abducted in a car park in California, of course. I'll give you the link here. And it was a rogue police officer, aren't they all? A bloke named Orban, who it was a really horrible case. He jumped in a car, put a gun to her head, and tried to rape her. He couldn't get it up initially. Eventually he did. Then he said to her, "We'll go." He wanted us to drive out into the desert where they could finish this. And at that point, she knew it was either make a break for it or die. So
he left his gun inside the car,
causing him to black out.
There's yeah, of course it was blackout. When he was brought to it, he claimed he'd been taking drugs at and he had an accomplice as well. When she escaped from the car, there's actually CCTV of her running across the car park being chased by him. And really horrible. He would have got a life sentence, but he hanged himself in his cell. Good riddance. Actually, so I found I have to do. I think I will do a video on this at some point. This is on GoFundMe. This is a woman. I was raped and lost my job. Hi, on December 28, 2019, I was raped within my own home. I subsequently lost my job for a mental breakdown. I don't actually mean 2019 or 2018, but and she's holding her hand out. People have raised $900 for a $3,000 goal. Fortunately, I'm a therapy program for my borderline personality disorder. Yeah, I bet you are. Interestingly, it was as a case, a recent case of November 11th, 2015. Oh, that's another one. That's a different one. Yeah. October 2018, a woman named Rochelle Lawrence in America, a mental health counselor. She claimed to have been raped by a stranger in her own home. Photographed her injuries. She didn't cooperate with the police, but she did start a GoFundMe, and this month she was charged, or it was reported she was to stand trial for fraud. There's quite a few cases like that on GoFundMe. I'm wondering just how many of them are genuine. So I may do a video on that. Right, interestingly, this bit about I just froze. False memories is another thing. I watched a documentary on serial killer Dennis Nilsen fairly recently. If I can get this. And one of his victims, so it's quite interesting. Here we are. Surviving Dennis Nilsen, it's called. One of his surviving victims was a bloke named Carl Stotter, who went back to Nilsen's place. Nilsson allowed him to sleep there in a sleeping bag, and he tried to strangle him with a sleeping bag. Then obviously he was unconscious, so he put him in the bath and tried to drown him. Somehow survived. He put the body on his couch or whatever, and the dog started licking him. Nilsson realised he was alive, but he didn't kill him. And after Nilsson was arrested, Strutter said that he reported this, but I can't be that tired. He reported this, but the or to a psychiatrist or whatever, and they tried to convince him he was the victim of a false memory. It hadn't really happened. So false memories do work both ways. Oh dear, sorry, just a minute. There's a big story in the UK as well of actual rape. This was a bloke named Reinhard Sinegar, who is from Indonesia, and he is apparently Britain's most prolific serial rapist. This is quite extraordinary, quite unique as well, hopefully. He was arrested in 2017 when his last victim woke up while he was being violated and beat the shit out of him. He's had 4 trials, this guy, and there was no mention until this month, so there must have been a total media blackout on. Must have been all coverage must have been suppressed under Contempt of Court Act right from his first appearance in the Magistrates' Court, because obviously the police realised this was something massive. They reckon he's raped up to 195 men. Something like 40 testified against him. He was arrested June the 2nd, 2017. So he was said to live around the corner from a club, and he was preying on men who said he was acting as a good Samaritan, taking men back to his flat, or offering to phone for taxis and stuff. Drunk men. The majority of his victims were said to be heterosexual. I don't dispute that this. When they got there, he offered them drinks which were spiked. When they got there, he'd spike their drinks and. I'm inclined to think there was more to. I don't dispute that these men were violated, but I don't believe that most of them were heterosexual. I think if a woman has been raped or if a bloke has been sexually violated, he would know it. They would know it. I think it's a really horrible story. Anyway. Interestingly, the 3 worst cases of this kind have been all in the UK. There was John Warboys in East London, a so-called black cab rapist who might have raped. Well, he was only convicted of 1 rape, but he sexually assaulted up to 90 women. He drugged women. I mean, for my money, the administering a noxious substance is far worse than an actual rape, because you don't know how somebody's going to react. You can kill somebody. The police refused to release details of the drug cocktail he was using. He's doing a life sentence. He nearly come to parole board. There was a massive public outcry, and he's not going to see daylight again. Certainly not until he can only walk only with a Zimmer frame. There was the case of Stephen Port, a homosexual, also in East London, who drugged and well, he murdered 4 men. I don't know if the sex was consensual or whatever, but or he drugged them and violated them, or just killed them. But it's a horrible case. Stephen Port, that was in East London as well. And now we've got this bloke Sinaga in Manchester. So it's I'll just run this, see how my sound is coming out. See how it's coming out. Probably should have done this on a Sunday night. Right, can you hear me, Alexander? Can you hear me, Alexander? Right, can you hear me, Alexander? Oh, there's a bit of a delay there. About 10-second delay. But it's live. It's live. Hello. Oh, it's me. Yeah, it's a really horrible case, that. Right, other things to talk about. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. This is it's amazing. This I've got a link here. What's this? This is Weinstein link.
Good morning. I'm here today to announce that my office.
Oh yes. I don't think Weinstein needs a trial, at least in California, because he's already been judged guilty by the district attorney. And there's the usual piffle here. This is from Newsweek. This is friendly emails are not evidence Harvey Weinstein did nothing wrong. Opinion. Yeah, this is by two American airheads. One of them a psychologist. Apparently, if a woman, this week, I rate women accused of Weinstein of sexual misconduct and harassment. Weinstein's strategy for a trial appears to be the same as always been: deny the accusations and discredit the accusers. Well, if the accusers are lying, his defence attorney revealed in a recent interview that friendly emails sent to the media mogul for some of his alleged victims were central to this strategy. Messages like "Miss you, big guy," and "I appreciate all you do for me" were highlighted. The lawyer insinuated that if Weinstein was such a bad person, these women would have run far and fast from him instead of trying to court a connection. As trauma mental health professionals who spend a good deal of time working with sexual abuse survivors, we know this is simply untrue. In other words, anything Stockholm syndrome, anything a woman says, right? Any allegation she makes can only be true, no matter what her behaviour after the alleged rape. Yeah, if she sleeps with the guy again and again and again, this is trauma. Yeah, this is actually bullshit. Don't believe a word these arseholes say. So what they want is convictions. Right, now we come to well, I've got a few other things here. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is interesting. 2005, a bloke named Kyle Farrell was stabbed. I think he was stabbed in the chest by his longtime lover, Fariessa Martin. It was a football player. Stabbed him in the chest, killed him. She denied murder, said somebody else did it. Ian Unsworth QC prosecutor said for hours she gave a wholly dishonest account involving Kyle Farrell being attacked by an unknown intruder who came to the house shortly after she had arrived home. Martin later claimed she acted in self-defence, alleging the pair had never been known to each other since school, had an argument and he grabbed her by the throat in the kitchen. I mean, this is, I mean, now she was convicted of murder and given a, I think, 13-year tariff. But if any of you are familiar with my work, will know that it isn't as simple as that, because enter Julie Bindel, lesbian man-hater, journalist, and her equally man-hating lover, corrupt lawyer Harriet Wistrick, and they're trying to get the case to the Court of Appeal. It seems they've overcome one hurdle. Apparently, this poor woman is suffering from mental health issues, and here we are. The 20-year-old neighbours heard her scream with Martin telling Mr. Farrell shut. She's claiming that he raped her. Let's find the word rape it. In fact, she mentioned so. Where were we? She said Martin had been right. Claire Wade, QC representative Martin, said 2 doctors statistically her client's ability to exercise self-control severely impaired at the time of the killing. Well, Ian Huntley could say the same thing, couldn't he? Ted Bundy could say the same thing. Other factors that contribute to a mental health breakdown were a separate rape she survived at the age of 15. Oh yeah, from someone else, and she was repeatedly raped by her ex. I mean, absolutely. And so they're going to try to get the case to. Well, they've got halfway there. Get the case to the Court of Appeal. It should never get anywhere near the Court of Appeal on this so-called new evidence about her mental health, and then they're going to bring in all this crap about her being raped. It's just absolutely outrageous. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. If I've got anything to do with it, they won't. Absolutely outrageous. And Bindel has she's published an article here. I'm waiting for my. It's a bit slow. She's Julie. Hello, sir. I presume you're sir. You haven't missed a lot. Well, I haven't gone on to the main subject yet. This is Julie Bindel we're talking about here. If this thing will come up. It's an article about why are some about this is if I can try another link. Oh, here we are. Why are oh dear. Why are some so keen to believe women lie about rape? I wonder. I was from the Spectator blogs. Yeah. Why are some so keen to believe women lie about rape? And she goes on about the undue attention given to false allegations of rape, which is this is a regular thing. Of course, what she's forgetting willfully is that every false allegation of rape, well, almost every false allegation of rape, starts life as a genuine allegation, and it's only when the truth comes out. I can't. Oh, here we are. It's from the Spectator blogs. Yeah, yeah. Are women inherently dishonest? No, of course not. We must be particularly when accusing men of rape. This is one of the most pervasive of all rape myths, that women love nothing better than maliciously and falsely accusing decent law-abiding men of sexual violation. Well, yes, there's certain types of women who do this. You wouldn't dispute that men also lie about all sorts of things. And she's going about Cyprus. Having met the young woman convicted of making false allegations of rape against 12 men, I'm very clear that she's not lying. Well, you would know, you would be clear about that, Julie, because you never met a false accuser you didn't like. Right now in the UK, the conviction rate for those cases reported to police stands at a shocking 1.4%. As much as that. And then she's bearing in mind, is it really possible that anywhere approaching a figure of 98.6% of complainants are making false allegations for malicious, trivial purposes? A lot of them are, and a lot of them are women who get drunk. I've covered this. They get drunk and then they rewrite their sordid sexual encounters in their tiny minds as rape. You'll find cases like this on the false rape timeline. The Rodney Anderson case is very, very instructive. All the women who told they put a load of compensation. No, generally speaking, there are very few cases of false rape allegations made purely for financial reasons. Most of the celebrity cases are where there's no police report or attention. They're just attention seeking, mischief making. Either way, the disproportionate media coverage on cases of women convicted of making false allegations of rape can give much of the general public, and therefore those who sit in rape trials, the impression that women are dangerous fantasists. No. I mean, this is, and she goes on about porn narratives. If the complaint is forensically examined and found to have suffered internal bleeding, extensive bruising, signs of serious trauma, this is dismissed as merely signs of the rough and tumble of sexual activity. She's talking about porn rape here. Okay, let's go on to this case in Cyprus. There's been a lot written about this. Much of it rubbish. But there's a very good article by a woman, the Evening Standard. This is a timeline of the case. This is a very good article, actually. I was surprised. I actually sent her an email about this. Sort of congratulate you. Very impartial. This is Rebecca Spear-Coles, a timeline of the case. Now, the feminists have already been rewriting this case. What actually happened was that it was Aya Napa on Cyprus, July 17th last year. She was a teenager. She wasn't a tourist. She was actually working there, working at a hotel. And apparently she'd been having it off with one of these group. She went to the police and claimed she'd been raped by up to 12 of them. She was 19. Apparently the age of consent in Cyprus is on Cyprus is 17. So some people have made a complaint about that what some of the people, most of the men, so-called men she accused, were under 17. They completely omitting the fact that that these 12 of them were arrested. Our correspondent hasn't done. The woman initially accused 12 men taken part in gang rape. Both her and the group of members stayed at the hotel separately. After all 12 were arrested the next day, 5 of the accused were released without charge. We know DNA was found to link them to the incident. DNA it used to wait ages for DNA results to come back, but now it can be done very quickly, as it seems here. The remaining 7 were then released later when the teenagers signed a written retraction. Now, I also found, I won't play it because it might crash my computer, but having problems. But there's I'll find this. It's Cyprus News Digest for January 10th. It's on a Cyprus website, a Cyprus Mail or something, and they cover the case in some depth. And not as objectively as this article, but apparently. So I mean, I know there are places like this, but there's ones at that Spanish island. I forget what it's called now. The places young people go, and it isn't just hedonism; it's just absolute debauchery. If you're young, relatively attractive, and got money in your pocket, and you're a bloke, you can get laid fairly easily. And women behave, young women, Britons, they behave very, very. There was well, I think it was a couple of years ago, there was a video posted to Facebook showing a young woman filleting up to 20, literally filleting up to 20 men in it was It's outrageous. They promised her a holiday, a free holiday, if she collated 20 of them, and she did that. And they got a holiday was a branded beer, so they gave her a bottle of beer. She was to wash the taste out of her mouth. But I mean, it's actually posted a video on Facebook. It's probably been removed now, but the fact that young women would behave like this is just, you know. And then they say everybody should be treated with dignity and respect. Well, no, self-respect comes first. A woman who does something like that, it just, yeah. I mean, this girl was said to have. She's been identified. I won't name her here, but you have no difficulty finding her name. She's on the victims website. That's FICTIMS.com. Victims.com. She's all over the internet. She's said to have reported them when they were filming her, and she was embarrassed of it. The Cyprus radio interview said that there's a lot of disinformation about this. The video of her having sex with one of these guys has been posted to the internet. Apparently, this is either a fake or it was of a previous night. No, I tried to find this. And to my surprise, I found to sex. If I can find this again, it was directed to a sex website. I don't know if I can find it now, but it was a sex website, and it was a porn video, an amateur porn video. A young woman, she's given a drink, and she's in a room with like a bunch of guys alone, and she strips off, and they run a train on her basically. I don't like stuff like that. It's horrible. But there's quite a few like that, and apparently Aya Napa in particular is it's you know, very it's all very, you know, for people who are young and stupid and don't care. And if you look at some of the sex sites, Motherless, let's see if I can find this. Motherless was a X videos as there's lots. Some of these sites that people they post their own homemade videos and stuff. There's some commercial stuff. This is site. It's X videos. It's got over 9 million. There's stuff here about Cyprus. Funny. It's something I don't know if I find the actual one. So the Cyprus gangbang. It's it's horrible stuff, you know, of women having sex with Cyprus gangbang. You know. No, I've neither the time nor the inclination to search these things, but it's all pretty depraved. As I said before, I like a bit of romance in my sex, and the idea of a group of people having sex with the same woman is disgusting. But anyway, she's been convicted of public mischief. There's a lot of garbage about not getting a fair trial. Well, it may have been they're blaming the magistrate, but in actual fact, this case is this case is not unique for Cyprus. And on the timeline, you will find I've no doubt that the magistrate who dealt with the judge who dealt with that case has got a long memory. Right, August the 7th, 1997. Irish national Annette Mangan is in Cyprus. She's having sex with a bloke. And others, 3 Irish soldiers. So there's 4 Irish people on Cyprus. So she's having sex with an Irish soldier. Something about a soldier. She's having sex with an Irish soldier, and the other 2 are taking photographs of her. She didn't like that. I don't think there were any smartphones at that time. Well, I mean, the quality of any sort of footage, CCTV footage, was pretty bad. But they were photographing her, and she claimed she'd been raped. And soon, it didn't take the police too long to work out that she was lying. That was August 7th. Later the same month, a woman named Susan Warburton, who was on holiday with her lover Paul Shearsmith, they were fined for public mischief. The previous week, she told police she was raped in a room by a hotel employee. She's a mother of 4. Apparently, she left her kids at home to go gallivanting with her lover. So that was some sort of attempt at an insurance scam. So, I mean, you know, it may be that the legal authorities in Cyprus are not they're not as dumb as they're made out to be, not as heartless as they're made out to be. They just got long memories. In fact, in 2016, a woman from Bulgaria claimed to have been abducted and raped by a Bangladeshi man. But this was apparently it's a sham marriage for immigration purposes. She recanted. So I mean, I'm not going to add this Cyprus taste to the false rape timeline just yet. I might not add it anyway because it's I mean, blokes who engage in sort of behaviour are asking for it. I don't believe she was raped. I claim she was suffered internal bruising, but you know, if you're going to take on a football team, you're not going to walk away unscathed. In my view, if she had been raped by 12 of them, she wouldn't have been able to walk, basically. This case has attracted enormous publicity from all these usual suspects. There were 2 young women, twins, teenagers. They set up something called the Gemini Project, and they were campaigning. There was a big demonstration, and they set up a not-for-profit, yeah, apart from their salaries, and boycott Cyprus. This is not justice. Overturn the conviction. Let her come home. Well, that's done now. Well, she's come home now. The uncomfortable truth, and it's got here. Viewing rapists purely as an exceptional type of violent monster, there are many abusers who sit up staying members of society to get away with their crimes. And there's the usual stuff. The UK justice system is failing survivors. A report published in September 2018 showed 23.1% fall from the year before the convictions for rape cases. Well, you know, don't we want fewer men? There's a bloke here who claims to have been raped. This is to garner assault for male support for the assault on due process. Being intimate after a sexual assault can be difficult. Yeah, I'm sure. Permanent assessed PTSD sexual assault survivors. I'm glad you didn't call it rape trauma syndrome because that does not exist. It's common for survivors of sexual assault to experience a mental health issue. It's common for many accusers to experience. And they go on to Blasey Ford. I mean, she's that horrible lying hag. Basically, They spouted the rubbish about statistics, and they want to do away with jury trials. Same as Julie Bindel and her lover, Harriet was strict. Just the usual rubbish, and for the most part, the media has been uncritical. For the most part. Okay, let's deal with some more false rape allegations. Believing women uncritically is, look, the reality is that the police have to make a value judgment. Now, some victims, some people reporting crimes have a lot more credibility than others. If somebody dials 999 in this country, 911 in America, I think 911 in Saudi Arabia, various emergency numbers in the world. The police, ambulance, fire brigade, they're obliged to take. They're obliged to come out. They're obliged to take the report seriously. If they don't, well, they're obliged to, you know. Even if there's been false reports from that particular number in the past, they're still obliged to come out. A woman like I mentioned previously, that car park rape, if she's been chased to the car park by an attacker, and the shopkeeper lets her in and locks the door behind her. Obviously, she's a very credible accuser. A woman who's bruised, torn clothing, if she claims to have been attacked in her own home and there's signs of a struggle, then she's a credible accuser. She might be telling a pack of lies, but she's a credible accuser. A woman who goes to the police station and claims to be raped 3 months ago, but I was afraid I wouldn't be believed. Well, how much credibility should they give her? Now, she may be telling the truth. She probably isn't, but so some accusers have a lot more credibility than others. And the reality is, a lot of these women who make allegations of rape are drunk. Now, drunk women can be raped as well. There have been cases, and we've just mentioned a case of a bloke who's preying on men who are drunk. But you know, a lot of these women, they have drink, they have sex, and then they change their mind, or they get confused. They can't remember if they've had sex with one man or 6 or none, or if it's consensual. And you can't blame the police for. I'm no fan of the police, as you'll know if you've seen anything I've read about, read anything I've said about them. But you can't blame the police for this. Now, some accusers have more credibility than others. The really outrageous false rape case in November 2014 was this was not reported to the police. This was the notorious Rolling Stone case, a rape on campus, an article by Sabrina Rubin Erdely, in which the young woman was allegedly gang raped by hello. I'm just talking about the rape on campus case. Oh dear. What happened? What was alleged to happen there? She's supposed to be gang raped for 3 hours, lying on broken glass. Now, and she didn't go to the hospital. And it was, you know, the police. There was an investigation. It concluded it was a tissue of lies. This woman, she was either taken for a fool or promoting an agenda, or both. This was absolutely ridiculous, and it led to civil actions, which a female college official won a substantial. There was a judgment of a payout. Another notorious false case. This is another one. Mallorca. This is that's one of the places where the British hang out for. Yeah. In May 2005, a Welsh tourist on Mallorca had sex with three Spanish men accused of a rape. If you know what goes on, if you've seen what goes on in Mallorca and places like that with teenagers now under 25s, under 30s, you won't be surprised that it's really shocking. Quite some of it, drug fueled. Now there's a case here which I think this is genuine. This one. This is this is a tragic case of a young woman, a teenage girl, who claimed to have been drugged and raped in Greece. I don't know if she was actually drugged, but she might have been drunk or something. But she was raped, or believed she was raped, and she ended up killing herself. It's very attractive, actually. It's just, this is, this sort of thing is, I don't know. I mean, the reality is that holiday resorts and tourist places, central London, New York, any seaside report where there's vulnerable people, old people, families, young women, they're going to be criminal types to prey on them, mostly pickpockets and the like, but nastier, some quite nasty, really nasty people, women as well as men, but mostly men. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful when you're in these places. So the Rolling Stone case was horrible, a lie. Another case, very well-known case, because the racial aspect, was the Duke Lacrosse case. There was what happened there was members of the lacrosse team, who are all white, as lacrosse players tend to be. I hired two exotic dancers, i.e. strippers, to perform for them. One of them, Crystal Mangum, turned up drunk. Well, she'd been drinking and taking drugs and that. She couldn't perform, and they taken to the hospital, and she accused them of raping her, and made all sorts of allegations. And there's hysteria over it because she was black and they weren't. It was the usual race merchants, and when the truth came out, of course, there'd been no rape at all. She walked free. Yeah, in fact, the only person who ended up behind bars was the district attorney, a bloke called Nuthin, who went the extra mile to. That was absolutely outrageous, prosecutorial misconduct. And Mangum went on to murder her lover, Reginald Day, stabbed him to death. There's actually a documentary made about this bitch, and they went bent over backwards, forwards, and sideways to oh, poor Crystal, her poor judgment. Yeah, sure. Another American case, quite notorious, was the Hofstra University gang rape hoax, which was September 13th, 2009. Dan Melnadonia had sex with 5 men, 5 students. I think it was 4 students, a non-student, This is on the timeline as well. She her boyfriend found out about. She told her boyfriend she was raped, and he reported it to the police. They were arrested, and then it turned out they'd videoed it, which was fortunate for them. But even more fortunate if they hadn't. I mean, seriously, guys, don't do this sort of thing. It's degrading for you as much as for women. Don't do this sort of thing. There's a case in the Netherlands this was June 24th, 25th, 1983. A teenage girl claimed to have been raped. That was false. There was no sex at all. This is an interesting one. August the 2nd, 1998. That would have been my 42nd birthday. Spokane police, another American case, received a call from a residential area. A young female motorist told she'd been gang raped by 5 men from another vehicle. She was taken to hospital, obviously interviewed later. She eventually admitted it was consensual. So, I mean, these guys must be absolutely stupid. I know some men keep it, get their brains inside their trousers, but if she's depraved, they're stupid beyond all meaning of the word. March the 28th, 2000. This is an English case. Well, that was the date she was sentenced. October 1999. 3 Kurdish men had sex with a woman the same afternoon. I don't know if it's all together or one after the other. Joanna Bell, and she accused them of gang raping her. 13 men were arrested, so obviously she's going to get jail time for that. Other cases. Cheryl Dannett, that's another English case. It's fine. It should. I can't remember if that was. She had sex with 3 men at the Grimsby home of one of her victims. A fourth man was present, but he turned her down. She told her mother she'd been gang raped. Her mother went to the police. She got, I think, the front page. Front page of the Grimsby Telegraph. Woman jailed over wicked rape claims. Woman, child. That was the UK. That was a woman in the north of England. This one. There's one from 1993. Samantha Foreman had sex with 3 butchers in their Wembley shop, and obviously they treated her like a piece of meat. And she paid £60. It was a blackmail attempt, actually. That was purely for money. It's another unusual case. Cheryl de Blasio in the north of England. 4 of them ran a train on her, and she accused them of rape and ended up in the dock. She got suspended sentence in community service. She's got tattoos as well. Horrible woman. Well, women with tattoos tend to be horrible. Sorry about that, ladies, but don't do it. I'll just give a shout out to David Pattinson. He wasn't falsely accused of rape. He was accused of touching a woman's neck, which you'll find. I'll put him on false rape timeline anyway, because it's absolute shows what total cunts the police are. This is on May 17th, 2017, and the hell they put him through for some. It's just absolutely outrageous. He's got a YouTube channel. His personal channel has 41 subscribers. He should have 41,000. And I should have a few people watching this. So anyway, he's campaigning against false allegations and against the attitudes of the police and the prosecutors. The reality is these people are like easy targets, you know. I've no doubt there are some women who are generally raped who don't report it, and there are some women who are raped and it's but the rapist claims consent and that he's believed or isn't prosecuted, but it works both ways. It works both ways, and there are a hell of a lot of cases for of men who have been falsely accused, and a hell of a lot of innocent men in prison at this very moment, all over the world. I mean, there are ways to avoid this. I mean, but there's no way to avoid false allegations. Certainly for anyone who's famous in any measure, any celebrity can be falsely accused, and ordinary people can be falsely accused. There are plenty of cases in the database. Somebody takes a dislike to you, for whatever reason, they can make false allegations against you. If it's a woman and a man takes a dislike to her, or another woman, then they can spread rumours about her being a tart or whatever. If it's a man, he can be accused. One of the things he can be accused of is rape or interfering with kids. Actually, that was quite an amazing case. Very, very recent case of a police officer. Let's find it. This is absolutely outrageous. September 5th, 2018. A police officer, a bloke named PC Hitesh Lakhani of Southall. This will show you the way false allegations, and you know, I mean, he had a problem with somebody from the council accused him of not taking care of his hedge or something. He was cutting his hedge and it was falling on the absolute triviality. And he accused this bloke who was a council worker, who was a street cleaner, a humble street cleaner. He accused this guy of luring a young girl into the bushes and forcing her to touch him, an imaginary girl. And he took film of this guy. He took on his camera, and there was obviously the police took this seriously. You know, always do when it was a young kid, and CCTV evidence from a neighbour caught him out, and he got 3 years for it, which is not a day too much. You know, false allegations are rife. It isn't just women making them. They aren't just sexual allegations. Anybody can be falsely accused. And if you throw away due process, you know, if you make it, you know, I mean, if you make it easier to convict, a lot more people are going to be convicted when they shouldn't be convicted. So we have to keep due process. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on that Cyprus case. Shame about the poor turnout tonight, but that's I'll put this on. I'll when I've finished editing this, I'll put it on. I'll set this to private and then I'll make it public later in the week. Well, no, yeah, later in the week probably, and also put it on next month on the Internet Archive. Anyway, Sunday nights is obviously not a good night for the False Fact Timeline. I'm not sure anyone is. I don't know if I'll be doing another one this month, but please check out the International False Fact Timeline, which has got lots of entries, articles, and videos as well, so you can listen to stuff. And that's the end of this live stream.